The Shadow Labor Minister for Social Services is actually a bit mad about the changes to legislation regarding waiting times for people looking to get government welfare. So this is welfare recipients essentially with more than $18,000 liquid assets in the bank will have to wait 6 months before they can access allowances like Newstart. And that means, particularly for sort of older people who might have been retrenched, get a bit of a payment, it means they're going to have to absolutely use up all of that cash before they can even go and get support in the form of Newstart. Linda Burney explained her concerns.
It hasn't gone to the Senate yet for discussion. They want to increase what's called the liquid assets waiting time. So let me give you an example, and it's very pertinent to Queensland. If you're a worker whose industry closes down or you're made redundant, and you might get a small redundancy package, $18,000 or $36,000, couple 36, and that's called a liquid asset. It might be shares, it might be bonds, it might be money you've lent your children, it could be a redundancy payment that you're waiting for. The government deems that you've got that money and they want to change the wait time to qualify for a social security benefit like Newstart from 13 weeks, which is what it is now, to 36 weeks. Now that's 6 months, and we think that for someone who's in their 50s, who has a small buffer, and they've worked hard all their lives, they've paid their taxes, for the government to treat them this way is not acceptable.
What are your concerns about how these proposed changes will affect people in Far North Queensland in particular?
Well, Far North Queensland has a number of regional seats or regional areas. It's a very important part of Australia, and of course industry up there is changing. And we are concerned that many of the regions have high levels of people who are on Newstart or are finding themselves in a very difficult position to get work. So that's my concern about North Queensland. And it just seems to me that the government hasn't thought this through. They cannot explain why they want to double the wait time, and it is simply a cash grab. There's no other explanation. And they also are not overseeing an economy that's doing well. They've certainly got no plans to create jobs. So we also know that the profile of people on Newstart are not young employed people. The bulk of people are over the age of 45. A quarter of them are over the age of 55. Now, how does the government expect those people going through trauma at that time in their life, taking 2 or 3 years to get another job, be expected to expend all their savings before they can qualify for a Newstart payment?
Who do you expect to be affected by this change most if it is implemented?
The people we expect to be most affected are particularly people that have worked in an industry for most of their lives. I'm thinking, places that the exiting of car making in Australia, for example, in South Australia, and the bulk of people who will be affected are people that have a small redundancy payment after long-term employment, trying to get another job. And all they've got between them and destitution is some money in the bank or some shares. And what happens if someone gets sick in the family? What happens if they have to retrain? What happens if they have to relocate to another town? What happens if the car blows up or the white goods need replacing because they've gone on the blink? These are things that people need to have a contingency for, and the government is just deliberately running down people's savings before people can qualify for some support.
That's Linda Burney, Shadow Labor Minister for Social Services, speaking to Marion Farr. Concerns regarding the liquid asset waiting time.